All right, welcome back to the Gun Culture Radio Show. And as a lot of you guys may know by now, it's now a podcast, and the link is in the description if you want to check that out. I'll go ahead and thank some of our sponsors. Thanks to Federal supplying all of our ammo. We've got some really hungry guns, so they've been feeding us feeding
the
our guns,
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also budsgunshop.com. They're a big online retailer. They got about everything on there. So we really appreciate them. And we'll also appreciate Derrick coming on again.
Glad to be back. Thank you.
Yep. And talking to you guys, telling you guys some more lies maybe.
Thank you. Be back at this undisclosed secret location.
That's right.
Somewhere in the mountains of Tennessee.
Right. Recorded from the bunker. Yep. So yeah, we had a few lies that we wanted to try to convince you of. Because you know how gullible you guys are. But yeah, I mean this recently in the news, of course, the big thing has been a lot of big things in the news recently, but one of them has been this Canada shooting at Parliament, where, as a lot of you probably know, basically a crazy guy did crazy stuff. In a nutshell, is basically what happens. And it seems like when these situations happen, these shootings, it's always about the method and not the madness.
Exactly. This man was clearly he was mentally altered, and again, you're right. Too much focus is on what he used to commit his crime instead of the mental condition that led to him to commit the crime.
Right.
He could have used a knife or a stick, but no. I'm guessing a lot of people are yelling about the guns.
Yeah. And I mean, a gun's easier, obviously, for that, but people forget about explosives.
Oh yeah.
That's another thing. It's not like we get rid of guns and then there can't be any more mass killings anymore.
Exactly. People kill people, and we keep forgetting that. We lose sight of that. We want to blame the object. The real issue is us. It's not the guns or the explosives or the knives.
Right.
The issue is us, and we need to be honest about that.
Right. And we don't necessarily have to go through the whole timeline of the thing. You guys can find out in the news, but in a nutshell, the guy went into Parliament, and he was trying to, and he also at the War Memorial, he shot someone.
Yeah,
right?
He capped off a Canadian soldier that was it was their version of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
Okay.
And this nutcase got out. He capped off one of the Canadian troopers up there guarding it, and then went on. I think he injured the other one, I believe. I'm not sure. And then that's when he went to the Parliament building, and it was the sergeant at arms for the Parliament, who's the only armed person there. Thereby the name Sergeant at Arms.
Yeah.
And shot and killed him. So a couple of my friends are Canadian, and everybody's shocked by that. This stuff never happens, supposedly. Never.
Wait, they're shocked that you have Canadian friends?
Duh, you got me. Sarcasm, I get it. There again, Canada, this kind of thing hardly ever happens. In fact, the way she put it to me, we thought this was an American thing. Oh, sorry, no.
Yeah.
It can happen anywhere to anybody.
There's crazy people in all
Everywhere.
continents.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like if they hit Canada, there's nowhere safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing that's frustrating is, like, there's this big catch-22, like, depending on, like, what gun gets used. Like, let's say he had gone in there with some type of AR-15 or something like that. They would have said, oh, he went in there with this, dangerous assault rifle and, shot all these people, and these things have got to be banned, or if they already are, it's like, this confirms our reason for banning these.
Oh, yeah.
And then, in this case, where he went in there with a pretty tame, by today's standards, firearm, a Winchester Model 94 30-30, just your typical hunting...
Lever action?
Yeah, lever action.
Whoa, dude!
Hunting rifle, right?
Dude.
And then, of course... what they're probably going to say is, oh, look how much damage he would have done if he had an AR-15.
Well, if he's a flintlock, I mean, they'll kill you.
Yeah, I mean, a gun's a gun. I don't know. Like, again, they're worried about the method instead of the madness.
Exactly.
That's just crazy. Like, yes, a lever action is slightly less capable than something like an AK or an AR-15, but still. You can't expect anyways to be able to keep people. He easily could have gotten an AR-15 if he really wanted one, regardless of what the gun laws are in Canada. He ended up going the easy route, but
some of the reading I've done, they got some of the same issues that we have here, even with the stricter gun laws they have in Canada. if you got the money, you can get the weapon.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yep.
And the same thing we'd have here. You can have all the gun laws you want. Only law-abiding citizens worry about gun laws.
Yeah.
If you're a criminal or in the criminal element, if you got the cash, you'll get the weapon, which is
Right.
what this guy did.
And the thing that's crazy is the crime, but basically it doesn't get any worse than murder. No. You kill someone, especially first degree, I mean, basically you're done.
Yeah.
Anything else you do doesn't matter. That's the thing. You know, you think someone who's planning on going and killing a bunch of people, committing murder, double homicide, triple homicide, you think they're going to be worried about a gun charge? You know, I mean, that's just
right.
insane.
Yes, the fact that you're not supposed to have this weapon is going to be the last thing on their mind.
Yeah.
Again, if they've, especially if you're mentally altered, as this man was.
Yeah.
I don't think he's too concerned that well, it's illegal to have this weapon in Canada.
Yeah.
I don't think he was concerned.
Yeah, like we kind of talked about this on there's another podcast I was on the other day. It's called Talking Lead. They have a cool gun podcast, and we were kind of sort of talking about something that had to do with this. And I remember I made the point that worrying about gun charges when you're planning on committing some kind of heinous crime, it would be like worrying about a roach in your ashtray if you've got 500 kilos of coke in the back trunk.
Hold up, you got another podcast on the side? Oh no, dude! Come on, you got another podcast on the side.
No, it's not my podcast.
Okay,
no, I was a guest.
I was worried for a second there. Okay, I thought you were cheating.
Yeah, I got 10 podcasts.
It don't mean anything to me. Come on.
No, I was a guest on Talking Lead.
Cool.
Yeah. Their podcast is good, unlike mine. They actually have people that listen to it, which is crazy. That's just it's something I can't really relate to yet. You know, but yeah, you know.
Okay.
but anyways, but yeah, actually, yeah. If you guys want to listen to that, it's on. You can go on their website. It's talkingled.com, and it's the Halloween episode.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. But yeah, so another thing too. Of course, it kind of begs to be discussed because of this issue is like Canadian gun laws because of this, because obviously what's happening right now is what everybody is thinking is everyone thinks of America as the place for all these shootings, and here's one that happened in Canada, so now people are trying to cross-reference Canadian gun laws and American gun laws, of course.
Much different.
They are much different. In Canada, you don't have a right to own guns. It's a privilege at best, basically.
Yes, from what I understand, in Canada, you have to petition for the right for the privilege of having a weapon, and that's done through justifying that because of my work,
right? I
need to have a weapon. Which Canada, they got moose, bear, and everything else everywhere. I mean, they should issue a gun at the border.
Yeah.
But they don't. But you have to, again, very restrictive for personal gun ownership.
Yeah, and it really seems bizarre because, I mean, Canada is there's so much open land up there.
Yeah,
and, I mean, cold, but there's a lot of open land up there.
But Canada's a lot like Australia, again. There's
gun laws, yeah.
As far as gun laws,
not terrain laws.
That's right. You're right. Good point. You caught me. Yeah.
I don't think they have as much desert.
Well, as far as gun laws, Canada is very much like Australia. There's no Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
There is no right to have a weapon. No Second Amendment type laws in Canada or Australia. Which again, these are kind of wilderness places. You think they would have gun rights, but they don't.
It's crazy.
A lot of it. Australia stems from there was a shooting, a mass shooting back in the early 80s, I believe. I'll get back to you with the exact dates, but there was a mass shooting. This individual pulled out an assault-type weapon, killed 27 people, and the knee-jerk reaction the Australians had was no guns.
Yeah.
Which is completely not the right answer, I think, because again, only law-abiding citizens are going to worry about that. It's not like weapons disappeared from there. They're there. They're just illegally owned now. Yeah.
And, here's something, too. If you think about that situation scientifically, okay, so you've got two things. You've got this guy and his act, and then the thing that he used to do it.
Yes.
Okay? So, let's talk about which one is more common. Okay, lots of people had that thing that he used to commit that act.
Yeah.
That was common. That was a very common thing. So when you're trying to figure out what caused the problem, usually you look to the thing that's the least common, the thing that was unusual about that. And the thing that was unusual was his mindset, not the thing he used. Because the thing he used was common. Lots of people had that. But the mindset was not, apparently.
The majority of people that have weapons are responsible people.
Right.
Level-headed, responsible. But as always, the only thing anybody's going to remember is the last time somebody screwed up.
Right, exactly.
That's the only thing anybody's going to remember. So, again, it was a knee-jerk reaction in Australia. And I don't know how the thing in Canada, I don't know how people are feeling now because their gun laws are very tough.
Right.
Very tough.
I can't imagine them calling for stricter gun control.
Exactly.
Because it already is.
How much stricter can they get? I mean, there are some things you just can't avoid, which some mentally altered individual doing something heinous, can you really protect against that? You can try, but you can't 100% protect against it. And I think we need to learn from this.
Right.
As Americans, we can learn from this is that as tough as you make your gun laws, you got people out there who will not be concerned with them.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing, too, people get confused about is the difference between a right and a privilege.
Yes.
Some people don't seem to get that sometimes. I mean, most of the people listening to the show do, but it's general public, sometimes they don't understand that. Like, for example, driving a car on the road is a privilege.
It's a privilege.
It can be taken away.
Yes.
And even your, which I don't agree with, but even your carry permit, as far as I understand, it's a privilege. It didn't, George Washington didn't write it up in the Constitution. Now, some people will say, like, there's actually a term that some people use, or I think some states even use it. It's called constitutional carry.
Yes.
Which basically is like there isn't a carry law. It's just you just carry based on the Constitution.
I don't necessarily agree with constitutional carry. I don't know if that's sacrilege in here, but I'm pro-gun carry permit because of the education that comes with it.
Yeah.
You know, you learn the laws. You learn proper ways to carry. You train. Yes. Constitutional carry, I'm just going to stick this gun in my pocket and walk around. Not necessarily for that.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, to an extent, the one way, like, I sort of agree with you. Now, some people might be getting upset right now, but allow me to explain.
The torch is lit right now.
Yeah, they are. But if you guys allow me to explain myself. Okay. Here's the thing, though. Okay, there's a distinction between, like, private and public. And like, for example, your home, your property, someone else's property, your car, traveling somewhere. Even though technically you're on public roads, still when you're in your car, it's fairly, you're in your own car, it's fairly private. So, you have guns doing, you're free to have guns doing that in most states. But I can see why it might make sense for the government to have some type of not even a check, but like to where people are being made aware of what the legal ramifications are for carrying a gun when they're in public.
Yes.
Because you're in public. There's other people around who maybe aren't carrying a gun and they don't know who you are.
Exactly.
So
you're not law enforcement or some kind of security officer. Yeah, you're just some person out there.
Right. It's kind of like a driver's license. I mean, you do want people to be aware of the law. I don't look at it as like a skill test, honestly. Like, to me, the qualification aspect of it really is kind of unnecessary, to be honest, because first of all, it's so easy to pass it that it doesn't mean that you can shoot.
No, it doesn't.
So it's really a waste of time. And also, your ability to shoot isn't necessarily doesn't have anything to do with like whether you should be allowed to carry a gun or not. Honestly, it's your understanding of the law. So
yes.
Or at least your exposure to it.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't have a big problem with there being some type of license that you have to have that shows that, okay, I have been exposed to the legal ramifications for this firearm. That
also means there's no coming back later saying I didn't know, which is the problem I got with constitutional carry. You can't come back and say, well, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Yes, you did.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I don't have a big problem with that, but I mean, I'm definitely open on that different opinions. That's kind of a tricky one. And I actually had a discussion with one of the listeners, I guess, viewers, whatever, on the YouTube channel about like he didn't think that it was good to draw a line. Like, we were talking about as far as like at what point do we agree with gun laws?
Yeah.
But I do think understood what he was saying. Like, it is a slippery slope to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's important for us as gun people to draw lines,
Mm-hmm.
because there's going to come a time where we're talking to someone that's anti-gun. They're going to be like, oh, well, do you think we should just all have bazookas? There's going to be, so you need to kind of have in your head, what do you think is reasonable and what is unreasonable, and then be serious about
something else I'd like to say too, that as far as law, gun laws or any other law, it's meant to be interpreted with common sense.
Right.
The bazooka analogy, yeah, you can have weapons, but do you need a bazooka?
Yeah.
The chance of a tank coming down this road anytime soon?
Yeah.
I think not. But
Yeah.
But any kind of law needs to be interpreted with common sense. And
Yeah.
again, that's the most important element in all this. If you're
Exactly.
going to carry or not, use common sense. Use your head.
Right, and actual common sense, not imposed government common sense. Like, whenever you hear the term common sense gun restrictions,
What's that mean?
It's never common sense.
What's that mean?
Yeah, and on guns like that we should be allowed to have, where I kind of draw my line is small arms. That's
Yeah.
kind of what I do, because basically the way I see it is we need the right to defend ourselves against other people.
True.
When you're talking about things like rocket launchers and bazookas and things like that, really you're talking about defending yourselves against other machines. Really, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I mean, yes, the Constitution is supposed to be for us to like, the right to bear arms is to resist tyranny. That's
Yes.
true.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. The government has tanks and helicopters, but where does it end? I mean, you know what I mean? So, I mean, yes, I understand that the government has helicopters, and if we're supposed to be able to defend ourselves against the government, then we need to have, ground to air missiles. I mean, I get the line of thinking, but that's not reasonable.
No.
Right? It's not reasonable.
It's not practical
that's
either.
going to happen.
That's not practical. No.
Right? Exactly. Not practical. So small arms, basically.
Small,
That makes sense. Like, I think full automatic. I think that's fine. I don't think fully automatic is any more dangerous than semi-automatic.
Question. Sorry to get off subject. I heard this law on automatic weapons. Somebody told me that what the law says is that you can't have any automatic weapons made after a certain date.
Yeah.
Anything before then, go ahead. A Thompson, have a nice day.
Yeah, there was this thing. I think people usually call it like it's like the Hughes Act, or but the NFA Act is what's called. It's called a few different things, but it happened sometime in 1986.
Okay.
And basically, what that law was, it said that, like, before that, you still had to go through a big, lengthy process to get a fully automatic, or what's considered an NFA gun, like a short-barreled rifle or shotgun, or anything like odd like that, or fully automatic. You had to go through this lengthy background check and all this kind of stuff. But since they could still be manufactured, they weren't that expensive.
Okay.
They cost like the same as anything else.
They were reasonable.
Right, like an Uzi back in 1985 would cost you like $700 or $800.
For a fully automatic weapon, that's changed.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But so what happened was they passed that law, and then nothing changed other than the fact that no newly manufactured guns, like fully automatics, SBRs or stuff, they can still make those, but no fully automatics could be now transferred to civilians.
Okay.
So anything made after 86 can only be owned by, like, if you're a dealer or if you're law enforcement, military, or something like that.
Okay.
So the demand on all those Uzis and Mac 10s and Thompsons went way up because there's only X number of them
out there. Okay.
So they're insanely expensive now. So it's like they regulated them with your wallet, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a backdoor way of doing it.
Or the other one I've heard people say, gun control, make ammunition so expensive that it's hard to get.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Luckily, that hasn't happened yet.
I know. I can't see it happening. Come on.
Yeah.
Not long as wolf ammo. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah. People. Yeah. I mean, people. That's the thing. Like, freedom will always find a way. It's just like Jeff Goldblum said in Jurassic Park. Life always finds a way. So does freedom. It does. Yeah. Freedom always finds a way. You leave it just a little bit of a crack, and it's gonna knife through. And it's gonna break it open. You know? It always will. So if they try to do something like that, we'll figure something out.
Sorry for the tangent, boys and girls. Yeah, it just hit me as I was sitting here. Hey.
Yeah, no, it's good though. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, but yeah, we didn't even get into the difference between a right and a privilege. But so yeah, a right basically, obviously, it's something that the government is supposed to respect that we already have.
Inalienable right. Yes.
Exactly.
Part of the
yeah.
Constitution, right? I thought
Right.
I heard that somewhere before.
Supposed to be, yeah. yeah. So it's something that we already have.
Yeah.
And they're writing down the fact that we have this.
Yes.
And we're not supposed to restrict it.
True.
That's a right. Supposedly it can't be taken away or limited, but they are all the time. Through back doorways, through front doorways, side door, upstairs window.
Chimney, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it takes. And then, of course, a privilege is just something that basically our society allows us to do.
Exactly.
Which, some things I get as being a privilege to an extent. Like with driving. I mean, that's a tough one because you kind of have to drive on the roads to get somewhere. I mean, I guess technically you could hire a cab or something like that. But like if you were decide you were just going to walk somewhere, I mean, good luck doing that without some neighbor or somebody getting mad because you're on their property.
In this world, yes. I mean, yeah. But it's driving. You're right. Come on, you have to drive.
Yeah.
In this world, that's not reasonable not to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So sometimes it's almost a little crazy that it's a privilege, but also it's you don't want someone crazy on the road. If someone like has serious problems.
True. And from the government aspect, it's also very taxable. You get that income.
Oh yeah.
Hey, come on now.
Yep.
Making money. Come on, dude.
Yeah, registration, man. They
Registration. What else? The fees for getting your driver's license.
Or
tickets. Don't forget that now. Come on.
Yeah, or like that. They check your exhaust for emissions.
Oh yeah, exactly. Davidson. Oh, sorry, the county that should remain nameless. Yeah, does that.
Yeah.
Idaho. Yes, that's where we're from. Idaho. Yeah.
Nebraska. No, they know we're in Middle Tennessee. So.
Okay. They will betray our secret location.
Yeah. They just don't know how deep the bunker actually is.
For all those drones flying over us right now.
Yeah. They have their own army of drones.
That's right.
But so that's basically the rundown of a right and a freedom. Another thing too is people love to debate about rights that we're born with, or is it something we kind of like? That's strictly just a fundamental like opinion thing. There's no right or wrong with that. But kind of my take on it, I think that maybe there's a few people that haven't thought about it this way, but still, even though those are rights, those are still ideas. You're not like born. You don't like pop out with a right, because here's the thing: if you went into the woods where like there's nothing out there. Like, you don't have a right to anything.
That's right.
You don't have a right to not get mauled by a mountain lion.
Or eat.
Yeah, you don't have a right to food. You don't have a right to anything. You got to make it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with that thing. Like, and I think kind of how the founding fathers meant it was they were like, okay, these are things that people deserve.
True. Better word. Deserve. Better word.
These are things that people deserve to have. And when we create this government, we're going to make sure that we recognize that.
Exactly. Very good. I agree. You're right. But deserve. We should like to pursue the happiness.
Right.
It's not a guarantee of happiness, but you have a right to pursue it.
Yeah. We're not going to try to stop you from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, at least that's what they said.
Yes, let them think that.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm always unclear on this. So what was your medical experience exactly in the military?
I was a Army medic. Then I went on to become a paramedic. And I ended up doing it as an additional duty until I had my regular Army job, and then I did the medic thing as an additional.
Okay.
That way, I was like a double threat.
Yeah.
I could do this. I could do the main job, and then if somebody got injured or needed some kind of medical attention, I could go out there and do the paramedic thing.
Yeah.
Which was it was good to have around.
Yeah, that seems like a smart tactic on the military's part.
Oh yeah. They
That's
call it combat lifesaver in the Army. It's a regular guy, because there's never enough school trained medical people to go around. Never enough.
Yeah, it makes it.
So
it takes so much time to
exactly,
train them. Yeah.
Exactly. So what they have a course called, at least when I was in the Army, called Combat Lifesaver. So first aid guys, what that is, and they teach you basic medical skills, starting IVs, all that, to recognize injuries, so that they can go out there and do all that stuff. And we may not actually have a school trained medic with us, but we got a combat lifesaver.
Yeah.
So me being again a trained paramedic, state certified by God, it was an asset. So I do the primary job, whatever that was.
Yeah.
And then I could also be a combat asset by being medically trained. I could do advanced life saving skills in addition to my regular job. So it was a double threat.
Yeah, that's cool. So one thing I was going to ask you, what in your opinion, as far as now, keep in mind the kind of the average person, what are some skills that you think that the average person should know medically, really in just day-to-day life, and then also as it pertains to like kind of maybe they call it like a grid down situation where it's like a survival situation.
The big one hits.
Yeah, you're out there, you got your bug out bag, and you're headed to the woods.
That's right. We're good.
Yeah, so
we're for the mountains, boys.
Yeah. So what do each of those guys need to know, and also like for the bug out situation, what would be kind of like a reasonable amount of like kit to have? Just you don't have to get into specifics, but
no problem. General skills, general medical skills is like being able to recognize injuries, medical illnesses, like any kind of situation where you're out there moving from one place on foot to another. Dehydration is going to be your big killer there. Simple stuff. Don't get carried away. Stay hydrated. Be able to recognize when somebody is not hydrated. If you have access to any kind of IV fluids, which you can go get the skills. Being able to shoot IV is a valuable skill because you can bring somebody back from the edge by just giving them 1,000 cc's of normal saline, and they're back up ready to go. And one thing I think people forget is that there's a lot of focus on finding food and protein. You'll die from dehydration in 3-4 days.
Yeah,
you can last almost a month without chow.
It's like I don't think he came up with it, but there's a YouTuber that I like to watch. The channel is called Such. He's like a prepper guy, but he has this thing where he says 3 minutes without air, 3 days without 3 minutes without air, 3 hours in harsh conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food.
True, absolutely. Also, as far don't get people tend to either go one way or the other. Either they don't prepare enough or they go overboard.
Right.
As far as preparing medically. Depending on your situation, when the big one hits, and we all know it will.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hunker down, then if you want to have the full blown surgery in the basement, be my guest. Be my guest. But realistically, just bandages, some kind of antiseptic, antibiotics are good. It's the little stuff that'll kill you. Yeah. In the past, men survived great battles, hand to hand fighting, and would die 2 weeks later from the infection they got from the cut.
Yeah.
So it's the little stuff. Again, let me reemphasize that: antiseptic, antibiotics, being able to recognize and splint, say a broken bone or a leg. Being able to recognize that hey, something is wrong. What's that sticking out of his leg? Yeah, very important. You know what that is, and be able to splint it.
Yeah, which I guess you could do with like a stick, basically.
Yeah, 2 sticks. Actually, the procedure is 2 sticks and 4 strips of cloth.
Oh yeah.
And I'll even say it, not to get too technical, but you time in the pattern of 1, 3, 2, 4. Time in that order, and you won't hurt him too much. But supposedly, technically, by the book, if you split their leg correctly, they're supposed to get up and be able to walk. Good luck.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Depending on what's chasing you, I guess.
So, but just basic skills, again, will take you a long way. Also, there's all kinds of neat little books, survival books you can buy out there. What you really want to avoid is ingestion of anything that's going to make you incapacitate you.
Yeah, like water. Those water purifiers are extremely important.
I would suggest iodine tablets. That will kill anything in that water anywhere. But
they also have these things that I don't know how long they've been out, but the life straws.
Life straw, excellent. It's a big ass filter, is what it is. But hey, is that muck filled pool? Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Now, what seems like would be the hard part when it comes to those water filters is keeping the part that you're drinking out of clean.
Yeah.
Because that would be easy to. Oh, let me just pick this bottle down here in this dirty pond, and then you get water all over the spout you're drinking out of, and then negated the whole use of it.
If you don't have the high-speed stuff, which most people don't, unfortunately, preppers do have one good idea. You got to have it before the catastrophe hits.
Yeah.
Because when the crap goes down, it's too late to run to the hardware store then.
Oh, yeah.
If you ain't got it when the stuff starts, you're pretty much
not going to have it. Yeah.
You're not going to have it. So knowledge is the most important thing you can have out there. My experience being a survivor of the Army SEER School is that most guys with some knowledge and what you got in your pockets, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's all about and I'm going to say it. The mental part is the most important part.
Yeah.
Proper mindset. No matter what you got as far as equipment, no matter what situation you find yourself in, if you got proper mindset and a little bit of knowledge, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
If you don't, it ain't looking good for the home team.
Yeah.
It ain't looking good.
Yeah. What was that? I remember you told me some story about SEER School, how you thought you were all, like you got all your confidence up early. Whenever.
Oh, yeah. Again, coming from this southern state that should remain nameless, I had been raised on a farm in the southern state. I thought, by God, I'm out there, born and raised in the South. No problem. Stick me out in the woods. I'll be about frontier heritage, all that. Yeah, right. Okay. Let me tell you something, dude. 2 days into the survival portion, when you walk around for 7 days out there with just what you got in your pockets.
Yeah.
2 days into it, I'm staggering into the woods, into hitting trees, tripping over stumps. I'm praying to Jesus to find the hamburger tree. I am dying. Until then, I had this image of myself as this jungle cat, gliding through the woods. No, I'm tripping over stuff. I'm bumping into trees. There was one point where we came up on this highway, and we saw these kids coming from McDonald's or somewhere, and they're like got the double cheese, whatever, extra fries. It took everything I had not to go up on that highway, flag somebody down. Dude, give me some food, man. I'm starving. Don't say you won't do it. No. And that's one of the things they teach you in the classroom portion of the school is that never say what you won't do.
Yeah.
Never say what you won't do because, sitting here, you're fat, dumb, and happy, I just ain't going to eat again in a couple hours.
Yeah.
You know that. I'm telling you, 2 days out the bush with nothing to eat, nothing to drink, you're going to be a different person.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you. Last story. We came up on this as we're moving. You're in a group of 5 to 7 guys, and you have to move 14 miles every night.
Wow.
And hit 2 navigation points along the way. So we came up in this guy's backyard, and this guy, Joe, American, middle-aged guy, he's burning leaves in the backyard.
Yeah.
Little did he know that about 50 yards away, there are 5 guys covered in mud, ate in 3 days, watching him. Right? He would have freaked out if he known.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and the guy was sitting there burning his leaves, and he had this big 1-pound bag of Lay's potato chips sitting next to him.
Yeah.
And I remember my exact thought. I'm sitting there, well, just walk up and ask him for some.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking to myself, but what if he says no? I thought, well, I'll stab him and take him.
Yeah.
I thought that's the exact thought I had. Fortunately for me and that guy,
yeah.
The guy in charge said, all right, let's move. And then we moved off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Never say what you won't do.
Yeah.
Never say what you won't do.
Yeah. Yeah, and Walking Dead comes to mind. With that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never been in a situation where I had to experience hunger like that.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I can imagine, though, that your ego in that sense just takes over, literally, and it's just like, nothing else matters, food.
You learn what's important. You learn what's important, and I think the school, I think everybody should go because you learn about yourself. You learn what's important, and it shows you that no matter how far you think you can go, you can actually go 10 miles further than that. I thought, whoa, man, I can't make it. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I'm starving. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You can do it, and I think it's a good gut check.
Yeah.
And it is because after graduating. You kidding? I couldn't pass McDonald's without stopping. Oh, I got to stop.
Yeah.
I got to stop. Put in the back seat. Just leave it there.
Yeah.
You never know.
Just all have it. Yeah.
Just all have it.
Yeah. That's true. It is important for people to know, like, And this is all, like no comparison as far as how hard it was, but it's still the same lesson to an extent.
Yes.
Like whenever I was playing basketball, the first coach I had was like a really tough coach, and I remember there was times where I'd be running. Of course, I was young too, so and I'd never done anything like that. So we'd be running, suicides, all these different things, and literally I'm dead. I'm just like, I gotta quit. Like I can't do anymore. Like I'm gonna have to quit. Like I can't do one more. I can't even imagine the possibility of doing one more.
Yeah.
And then I ended up doing like 10 more.
Yeah.
It's just
all of us can go a lot further than we think we can.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of us in our lives and our situations, we never push the point where we have to go to the extreme, which is good and bad. I think we should all challenge ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not telling anybody out there to go climb Everest or anything.
Yeah.
But I thought you should do something.
A little reckless.
Yeah, thank you. We are disclaiming that right now. But you should do something to push your limits.
Yeah.
And do something you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah. That's honestly challenges. That's what life is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Challenges, some physical, some mental. A lot of them are both. I mean, that's what life is all about. It's a challenge. It's like we talked about last time. Remember how if there was a crap hits the fan, situation,
zombie apocalypse. Okay,
whatever it happens. At that point, it's like life. You have a hard time you're going to have a hard time letting go of your past life. I don't care who you are. You're going to have a hard time. But the thing to remember is your old life was also a challenge. It wasn't as challenging, but that was still the point of that life. And the point of life has not changed. You just have a new challenge now. It might be harder. You might have different things that you're going to have to be concerned about. But ultimately, you're still on top because life is a challenge. You still have, honestly, it might be better. You're going to be able to push yourself farther and see what you're capable of doing.
Exactly. It's all about perspective. Yeah. And
I mean, not better, obviously, but you know what I'm saying.
Less stress. Well, hey, no light bill this month. Okay.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. It almost, it's funny. It almost seems like humans are more adapted to that kind of stress than the kind of stress we face in our society now with bills.
I think a lot of what we face now is self-generated.
Yeah.
We generate a lot of our own stress now. Well, I got to have that new 57-inch. Why, dude?
Yeah, a lot of it's cultural.
Yeah, exactly.
Cultural pressure, social pressure, all that kind of stuff. That's one reason it's good to do something that's physically demanding, whether it's lifting weights or hiking, or
something,
or some type of skill that requires a lot of focus, or something to where you can kind of get that out. Because I think that when people don't have something like that in their lives, I think that's when you see people that are constantly agitated and always wanting to be confrontational with each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's a good thing to go out there and challenge. Again, it's a good thing to go out there and challenge yourself because quoting who was it? Thoreau, I believe.
Sounds like it.
Don't quote me. Don't quote me on this quote.
Thoreau.
He said one of the biggest fears he had was getting to the end of his life and realizing that he had not lived.
Yeah.
So you gotta go out there and do something outside the box. Go for it. Because come on, man. Just don't make things too routine.
Yeah. And don't make it harder than it is.
Back to the wartime thing. These Kurdish guys I met in this. The place that should remain nameless.
Yeah.
They were assisting the special forces guys in northern Iraq, and we talked for a while, and they said that again back to the challenge thing. Life in Iraq was just real simple.
Yeah.
You get on your vehicle, you go out there, and you find the bad guys, and either you shoot them or they shoot you, and then you come back or you don't.
Yeah.
In hindsight, that's just very simple. Just. Not complicated, no gray area, real black and white.
Yeah.
So if when the big one hits, and we all know it will,
obviously,
that's one way. That's one way you can look at it.
Yeah.
Life will be hard. Life will be harder, but it'll also be a lot simpler too.
Yeah. And one thing too, I think one reason maybe we fear death in our society now more than maybe they did back then was because we have. We have more to lose now. At least we think we have more to lose. Because like back in those days, it's easy. Like I think about that all the time. When you look back in the days before guns, when you had these huge wars of just like iron and flesh, just colliding.
The old days, yeah.
I mean, it's just insane. Like, how did they even get motivated to do that? But if you think about it, like everything in their life was a challenge.
Yeah,
that was just another one.
Getting water. Yeah,
everything was tough back then. Yeah.
Well, we're spoiled now. I mean, come on. We expect, clean water. We expect to have lights in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We expect to have heat.
Yeah.
Back then, well, you didn't expect anything. Like the frontier, you pulled up in your wagon. Okay, there's your land.
Yeah.
What now? Well, you want a house? Well, get that axe.
Yeah.
So.
I think the natural progression of things, it's kind of like, it seems like to me what's kind of happened with fast food is when fast food first came around, everybody was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
Fast food. This is unbelievable. I can't believe we have this new convenience. And then now people are starting to realize, it's not that healthy for you. Maybe we should not eat fast food.
Well, it wasn't, people didn't live on it in the past. It was just every now and again you go out there and you get a burger somewhere. But most of the people, they cooked at the house. That's what you did.
But recent people are starting to live off of it. But now is a trend away from it, which is kind of nice.
Which is good. Health-wise, it's very good.
You have these more like mid-range kind of restaurants that are starting, as I call them, they're starting to pop up, where it's not like a sit-down, like, Charlie's or something, and it's not a McDonald's. It's kind of in the middle,
Yeah, the food won't kill you.
Yeah.
Well, which in McDonald's defense, let's be fair, they do offer healthy choices.
Yeah.
People don't touch it, but they do offer it. They
Yeah.
like that guy tried to sue McDonald's for being a lard ass.
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
What balls?
I know.
I saw him on CNN. He said, "I didn't know that food was so addicting."
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Sure.
Yeah.
Of course, it got thrown out. Of course, as it should have. But come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not forcing it down your throat, that's for sure.
It's just so tasty. I couldn't help
Yeah.
myself. Come on.
But I think that's good. That's kind of what's happening. Like, you do hear a lot of people saying, like, Americans are all lazy now. Which, if some people get a little too fired up about that, just to be honest.
What? They do?
Yeah. And but here's the thing. Here's what I think has happened and is going to happen. I think life was a struggle for most of human history
For
in
so long, yes.
most societies. And then recently, like past 50, 100 years, things have been pretty nice. We've had a lot of conveniences, and whenever something new comes along, we get excited about it. We're like, oh, this is awesome. And we kind of go a little bit too hard into it, and we start to rely on it. And then there comes a time where we kind of get bored with it, where we get tired of it, and we're like, yeah, it's nice convenience, but it's kind of boring. Like, I'm used to this now.
You get used to it, yeah.
And then what I think is going to start happening is I think a lot of people are and I think it's already happening, are going to start being more active and they're going to start, they don't have to struggle anymore, but they're going to want to, because they're going to want to find things that they can better them mentally, physically. They're going to want to challenge themselves more, because they have experienced this period of like not having that many challenges. So they're going to seek that out instead of kind of it being forced upon them.
Patton said the test of a man is the challenges of life. And he's right.
Yeah.
If things get too easy, then we're not going to appreciate them.
Right.
A lot of guys a lot of veteran type guys come back here, and one of the biggest things you have to get over is you hear people complaining about their salad ain't fresh enough when you just came from a place where you've been eating MREs for a year.
Yeah.
So challenge is good because it makes you appreciate when things are easy.
Right.
So we all got to challenge ourselves.
Right, because it's all relative.
Yeah.
Because if the worst thing that ever happens to you is your salad not being fresh, here's what's crazy. If you think about it, here's what's crazy. Is like, relatively speaking, let's say that the worst thing that could possibly happen to you would be like, your salad not being fresh. Let's say that,
Okay.
There's no one out there that is the worst thing that could happen to. Well, let's say,
I hope not.
Yeah, let's say that is the worst thing that could happen to you. Then that to you is going to feel just as bad as like someone in some third world country like losing their parents. That's
True,
what's crazy,
Good perspective. You're right. You're right.
So let's have a little respect now. Next time someone says their salad isn't fresh,
I understand, man. Man, look at this lettuce, man. How you stand it?
Yeah. How do you just push on?
So you're right. Perspective. You're right. Okay. All right. Be fair.
Yeah. So, anyways, we kind of got off on a crazy tangent there with all kinds of things.
Like always.
Yeah, that's how it goes though. Because I don't like to edit the shows. I have to cut out a lot of Derrick's foul language, of course.
Of course. There we go. Oh my God. Potty mouth. I'm sorry. Oh.
But that's what 21 years in the military.
That's right. Yeah. I try to tell people, yes. Do I use too much profanity? Yes. but I'm not like which I'm not like in the McDonald's. Give me an effing burger. No, I'm not doing that. But
it's time and a place.
The time and a place for everything, and we are a family-oriented show here.
That's right,
we are.
Because I'll be honest, I use foul language.
I mean, foul language.
But it was crazy though. Like, what is foul language?
In today's world, come on.
It's like, okay, so there's words that you just like say them, and they're just inherently bad because you said them.
I mean,
eventually, I think like bad words, like just inherently bad words, it's gonna go away. Even like 5-year-old kids will be dropping F-bombs, and no one will think anything about it.
Look at him; he's just a kid. I think it's more important. Let's listen to what they're saying.
It's the meaning behind it.
Exactly. Thank you. It's what they're saying instead of how they say it. But too many people get caught up. Did you hear that profanity he used? My God. Yeah. But he was telling us the meaning of I don't care. He used the F word.
Yeah. He was about to tell us the meaning of life was 42. But all that being said, though, I know there are people out there that they want their kids to listen and they don't want their kids to be exposed to that kind of stuff, which I respect that.
Family oriented, yes.
All right, so so I try to keep the
of course off. You should have one of those bleepers, every time I say something, even beep. Hey, you know what else I beep? And then that guy, he's like beep. So no.
But I try to keep it. I keep it. Well, I don't try. I do. I keep it clean. But so one thing I was going to ask you is, what is your favorite zombie documentary? A lot of people a lot of people are confused, and they tend to call zombie documentaries movies, which I don't understand. But really, they're documentaries. I mean, do they not think that like zombies are real or something?
What? You got any doubt? I mean, there are people out there with doubt.
Are you telling me that are you telling me that like they went out in Hollywood and like had people like pretend to be zombies?
Come on, get down to Haiti. They're all over the place.
That's preposterous.
For all you Haitians, I apologize for that. I did not mean that. but 2004, Dawn of the Dead. 2004, the remake of the 1960s. Great movie. Scary because it's so real.
Yeah, and they're fast.
They can outrun you. Yeah, you're right. None of this Walking Dead staggering stuff. These guys are like track stars. They run you down. And that's what scares people. Stephen King said the reason zombie movies are so popular is because they're us. Yeah. The horror never stops. They're us. And we all believe that someday, somehow, that something like this is going to happen. Are there conditions out there that alter people's behavior? Yes. Rabies, bath salts. That guy in Florida, they shot him twice. Yeah. And didn't kill him. Okay, that officer, I'm like, what the hell? What were you aiming at? Yeah. And the fact you shot this guy twice and he kept eating this guy's face.
Yeah. He's not easily distracted.
That guy's focused.
He must have been on Adderall or something.
I'm on the side of the road, naked, eat the guy's face. Don't bother me. Okay, I'm busy.
I got a schedule to keep working.
That's right. Keep looking at his watch. If I could be able to finish his ear before lunch. I don't know. But Dawn of the Dead, 2004, Vin Rames and whoever else was in it. Great movie. And I think they hit on a lot of survival points too. They hit out in the mall for the first couple of weeks or whatever, and then they were going to have to move. Yeah. But the guy in the gun store didn't make it.
Oh, no.
Dude, I mean, he's in a gun shop. All the ammunition you want, but no food. Oh, slight oversight.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a message on it. I know that's the thing is in a zombie apocalypse scenario, if it really is like that and there's really that many of them, you can't expect to kill all of them. You're going to have to figure out a way. You're going to want guns to protect yourself from immediate threats. But ultimately, you're going to want to find some high ground. You're going to want to get up in the hills somewhere where they can't really get very easily. Somewhere where you've got some protection.
True, and the survival point that they hit on is that eventually you're going to have to move, which is what people tend not to want to do. Any kind of catastrophe, people want to hunker down. They don't want to leave home because it's familiar. But the time, depending on how long everything lasts, you're going to have to move, like those people in that mall did. You're going to have to go somewhere else. And now, you spend the time while you're hunkered down determining on when we do have to move, where's it going to be to? Yeah. Hey, the Rocky Mountains sound great. I've never been there. Let's go.
Yeah. Honestly, that would be one of the best places.
World War Z, that's what they say go. In Wyoming. Yeah. Which is so cold. Yeah, I understand. But zombies won't even go there.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably go to the Smoky Mountains. It's closer. But.
That's right. You're right. More economical. Yeah.
Yeah. But, Well, actually, I was gonna say the original Dawn of the Dead. Actually, being my favorite,
black and white.
Yeah, which is a great movie, by the way. I love that one. But I'm gonna since you said the 2004 Dawn of the Dead, I'm gonna go with one that's a little bit more obscure, Dead Alive. Have you seen that?
Yeah. All right.
Which is actually directed by Peter Jackson of all people.
Oh, go figure. Hey, before his King Kong and the Hobbit days.
Yeah. But Dead Alive, I don't know if you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that movie is nuts. I mean, it's just it's a comedy in a lot of ways. I mean,
that's Roddy Piper, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was in that.
He wasn't.
No, it was like I think
Live.
it was all like New Zealand actors.
Oh, okay. People we've never heard of.
Yeah, it was that one where at the end. Sorry if this ruins the movie for you guys, but deal with it. At the end, probably the best scene there ever was in a zombie movie. Mm-hmm. He comes at this big horde of zombies with a lawnmower. He's got a shoulder strap and he's like holding it up. And he just rips into him.
That's innovation.
Yeah,
my God,
it is.
The Shaun of the Dead, great movie.
That's a good one too.
Great movie, Shaun of the Dead.
Those guys are great. What, Simon Pegg and
the other guy, the big guy.
Yeah, I forget his name.
Nick Frost.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Which save your ammunition, people. Just get a bat and go to work. Hey,
yeah,
dude, save your ammo.
Yeah, I mean, just like they tend to do in The Walking Dead, if you can,
yes,
blades if you can. Yeah.
Which point we've already covered too. They say in The Walking Dead, which is a point we've already covered, people will be the bigger threat.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
In fact, they said in Walking Dead, people are worse than zombies, especially if you've been watching. Yeah, especially if you've been watching the recent shows.
Yeah, because people scheme. Zombies don't.
Yeah, they're just there. Okay, I understand you, zombie. It's that guy over there.
Yeah. One thing, you see them using like a lot of, like some hatchets and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that using like hatchets and things like that, like more of like a hacking blade instead of a poking blade is a little unrealistic. Now, I've never put one in somebody's skull before.
We haven't killed too many zombies around here lately.
Yeah,
but if we did.
But from just growing up on a farm and using lots of things like that, like hatchets and any type of a weapon where you're like coming down with it onto something, it sticks.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It sticks, and whatever you hit with it, it's going to stick. And I assume the human skull would be the same way. That it would get stuck. So if you hit a zombie in the head with a hatchet, it's like
I think the
that's not good.
Guy behind it because they're decaying flesh, so it wouldn't be as apt to stick because the flesh is decaying.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So, and also if you read the book, what's that movie? Not Dawn of the Dead. It was World War Z. World War Z. He says that they come up with something in the zombie apocalypse called the lobotomizer. It's a shovel / spear.
That sounds interesting.
And somebody, if you look on YouTube, somebody actually built one based on the book.
Oh,
it's the perfect zombie killing weapon because you can either use the spade part to take their head off or the spear part to gouge your brains out. So, in fact, in the book, they got factories turning these things out because eventually, once the apocalypse hits, ammunition's going to run out because there's nowhere else to make them.
Yeah.
So it went back to old school, hand to hand.
Yeah.
So and this thing was great.
Yeah.
Use a shovel, smash them, poke them, stab them. Great thing. So start making them now, kids.
That's right. Yeah, start working on it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I always thought one of the best weapons in a zombie situation would be, and I've seen them before at gun shows. They're kind of uncommon, but the SKSs, they have the underfolder bayonet.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Chinese,
AK. Yeah, there's AKs that have those.
The Chinese,
where it's actually, you could have a bayonet that you just stick on, but the fact that it's attached to the gun where you can't lose it.
It's more like a little spike. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a pretty nice gun to have because you've got the AK for one. So if you had people trying to kill you or like a lot of zombies, you've got your rifle. But for just that 2 or 3 that are ambling around,
I save the ammo.
Skewer,
I'll skewer them. Which I hate to say it, boys and girls. I know we got a lot of AR people out there, but when the big one hits, I think it's gonna be the AK still around. I hate to say that. I hate to say that.
I don't know. I'm gonna stick with the AR, but it's less about the design of the gun and more about the ammo and the weight. A little bit lighter gun. Ammo's a lot lighter, as you know. Lighter to carry.
But I think I am by no means. I want to issue another disclaimer. I am by no means an AK advocate.
Yeah.
But when the end comes, and it will, the AK, the AK will be the weapon that I think is gonna be the last weapon standing. All those years I used M4/AR. Can be temperamental. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of it. Very important. But AK, you can't do nothing to it.
Yep.
I mean, can't do anything to it.
Yeah.
We threw one. This guy, a bad guy, had one, and they took it from him and they threw it in the pond. I thought, as soon as we walk off, he's going to go out there, get it, shake it out. It'll be good as new.
Yeah.
You can't do anything to it. So
10,000 years from now, there'll be an archaeologist. He's like digging around
in a cave. And
finds an AK and it works.
What's this? And he pulls the trigger, it fires.
Yeah.
Holy and then he'll put it next to his phaser.
Yeah.
Which, don't laugh. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere trying to make one.
Yeah.
A phaser set for stun or kill.
Yeah.
It's out there. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah.
Taser's close.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I'd say those are some good zombie movies. Definitely.
Excellent.
We want to check those out. I had another. Still working on the segues here on the radio show.
Yeah, we're working on that. Yeah.
Yeah, don't have these.
We'll add those later.
Yeah.
Just start talking.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. I'll just edit those in.
That's right.
Yeah. But of course, people realize. I mean, sometimes you do end up having just a natural segue in a show, but the people who actually have those pre-planned segues, I mean, people realize like you don't just happen to go from zombie movies to politicians,
or like, cupcakes. Hey, what?
Yeah. So actually, maybe that'd be a good segue: zombies and politicians.
Close. Yeah. Close.
But one thing that to me is really interesting to think about, which is one of the things I had here on my little handy dandy notebook, was we tend to think, in the people in the gun culture, we tend to think, oh, look at these politicians, they just don't know anything about guns. It's so frustrating, they're so ignorant about guns and all this kind of stuff, and they're making all these laws, which very well may be the case, and that's that's definitely how it seems. They say some very ignorant things about guns. It shows that they don't know anything about them. But here's the thing, to me it kind of seems like that's not necessarily the case, or maybe not. I don't know. But I just want to open the discussion of, are politicians in general, the anti-gun politicians, are they really that ignorant about guns, or do they just appear that way?
I think they're playing to their constituents. Whatever groups provide the most support,
right?
Whoever elected them, they're playing to them. Like the pro-gun guys, they play to the people that put them in office,
right,
which are pro-gun people. Just the anti-gun people are going to play to the anti-gun crowd.
Right.
They're doing what they're getting paid to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's all that is. They personally may not feel that way, but hey, the people that sent me here want this. So if I'm going to stay in office, which apparently being a politician is a career now, they got to do what the folks back home want. So,
right.
That's why it's important to vote, people.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, for example, there was this YouTube video. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it was Dianne Feinstein. I'm pretty sure it was her. Yeah. And she was asked some question about what a barrel shroud was, and she said it was like the shoulder thing that goes up and all this kind of stuff. And it was kind of like, look how ignorant these politicians are. But here's the thing. So Dianne Feinstein is one of the leaders in trying to get our guns taken away. She's one of the biggest names in that. So if you're the head of anything, how would you not know the simplest things about it? That doesn't make any sense. And when it doesn't make sense, a lot of times it's because it's not true. Like, she probably knows a lot about guns. She probably shoots guns. She might have a ton of guns.
She got gun safe in the house.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
She's probably saying what she thinks and so what she knows. Or, again, she's playing to the anti-gun lobby.
Yeah, maybe she acted like she knew too much about guns. Then
they go, "Whoa, you know a lot about a gun since seeing that you're anti-gun. Do you have a gun on you now?"
Yeah. What's going on here?
She pulled out 1911.
Yeah, or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't know anything about guns. But it just seems to me like if all the work and everything that it takes to get to that point, being a politician or a senator, there's only 100 of those in the country. To get to that point. And to know so little about something just seems preposterous to me.
Well, again, let's try not to be too impressed by these people because number one, it's a popularity contest.
Yeah.
Also,
And a money contest.
and a money exactly. Took words out of my mouth. It's a money contest.
Yeah.
If you got the cash to promote yourself, to frame yourself in this way or that, then the people that if you can make people think that you're going to promote their agenda, they'll put you in office.
Right.
The ones that do vote, and I think America, we need to. We don't vote. Not enough of us vote because there's so many people are. What's the word I'm looking for?
Uninterested or just,
exactly. Uninterested. It doesn't. Nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter. Which I understand feeling that way, or better yet, if I elect this person, how's it going to affect my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're down here in Middle Tennessee. DC, what's that got to do with us?
Yeah.
Because is it going to affect our lives? Probably not.
Yeah.
But remember, we're dealing with people that they're going to do what the people that put them there expect them to do.
Right.
So we should be surprised.
Yeah.
When they say ignorant things. Yeah, it sounds ignorant, but it's what the folks back home that voted for me want to hear.
Right.
So if you don't say that, then you're not going to be a senator for long.
Right.
So
Yeah, and a lot of times that's the problem with one of the fundamental problems of politics is when you vote for a politician. In a lot of cases, you're not really getting that person. You're getting a belief system that person represents.
Exactly. And a lot of people like to fault the American political system. We need a king, and no, we don't. No, we don't. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it is messy. The American political system is very messy. It's very argumentative, but it's about the best thing out there.
Yeah.
Because we don't need no tyrants. Thank you very much.
No.
We don't need anything other than what we have now.
Yeah.
We see what these other countries.
Right. And what's funny is like a lot of people, including myself, complain about the corruption in politics.
Yeah.
Our system, it is easily corruptible.
Yeah.
But a dictatorship doesn't need to be corrupted because it's already messed up. You know what I mean?
We don't.
Like you don't hear people. There weren't people that were complaining about the Hitler's regime as being corrupted.
Oh, they didn't complain for long.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard someone say this, and I have to agree. We get the government that we deserve because if we vote these people in, then that's what we're going to get.
Right.
We have one of the biggest advantages to the system we have now. If there's a problem, don't elect them again.
Yeah.
But if we keep electing the same kind of people that we complain about, shut up.
Another thing that makes it hard too sometimes is they present themselves as Joe Blow. Here's what I believe.
Yeah.
And then you vote for them and they get in office, and then it's really just like Joe Blow stand in for this belief system.
True. That's like in Britain, Parliament, the government, they don't vote directly for members of Parliament.
Yeah.
They're selected, and then the idea being that you trust me to do what's right, so I'm not necessarily going to ask you what to do.
Right.
You put me up here because you trust me to do what's right for all of us. So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but that can be a recipe for disaster too because I mean, there's no check. You don't know what they're doing, maybe. Or
true, you're just trusting them to do what's right.
Yeah.
Which is you shouldn't put them up there in the first place if there's any doubt.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Dick Cheney. Who was it? Somebody. I hope it was Dick Cheney. He said that somebody said his popularity was very low when he was vice president.
Yeah.
Very low, and he says, "I don't care.
Yeah.
Why? I'm here to do what's best. They don't have to like me. I'm here to do what's best for the whole country." Which I got given up to him. That's a good leadership attitude.
It makes sense what he said, but that's in his opinion is the problem.
Yeah, I see his point of view.
Yeah, I definitely get the point. The logic behind that makes total sense to me. Mm-hmm. But whether it's Dick Cheney or Joe Biden or whoever it is, it's their idea of what. True. That's the problem.
True.
Honestly, I mean, it's tough. I mean, a society obviously is something that's never been done successfully. That's something to remember. A society has never been successful
on
this planet. On this planet, what is success really?
Yeah.
But there's never really been obviously it would still be here.
It was perfect. Where'd it go?
Yeah, exactly. Something happened. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's important to stay active and to be aware of what's going on, and don't just buy into a belief system.
Yeah.
Right. Like don't buy a political kit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't get distracted either.
Yeah.
I think that's another problem we have with American politics. People get distracted too easily. Example, I saw this on Bill Maher, which I know is sacrilege on this show. Bill Maher on HBO, the governor of Kansas, conservative Republican. He did a lot of stuff that what he thought was right and caused a $30 million deficit.
Yeah.
$30 billion, sorry, deficit. The guy that was coming to take over for him, a Democrat, had some great ideas, good background. He looked like a shoo-in. But then it came out that this younger guy, when he was 26, went to get a lap dance at a strip club.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're like, how could we have this man in our leadership position? Hey, dude, that was like 15 years ago, and it was a strip club. He was a young single guy at a strip club.
Yeah.
What's the problem? But people just totally got distracted by it.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
We owe ourselves more
Yeah.
than they get distracted by BS like that.
Yeah, we're not trying to get too political about anything, but basically in a nutshell, we're just trying to say that don't buy into belief systems too much, because beliefs don't need to be a system. Honestly, I mean, honestly, they don't need to be.
No.
And also, I mean, the word belief is kind of a weird one, but still, beliefs, whatever you want to call it, the beliefs can be considered lots of different things, but still, they don't need to be a system. Whatever your beliefs are, have them on an individual basis.
Yes.
And advocate those, whatever it is
They're
you believe.
relative.
It might be something I think is crazy, but if you believe it and you're sure about it, you've thought about it, you've done your research, you really believe that, then that is your right. You should fight for that, whether I agree with it or not.
It's your business, and don't impose it on others.
Yeah.
Don't try to impose your belief system on others.
Yeah, which it's natural to want to do that because we all think that we're right. Obviously, I mean, we just do.
I am, but
exactly. So I don't want to tell people what they should think. I like to make things available to them. Sometimes I'll rant about guns and stuff like that, but whatever. But the main thing is, I have a problem with belief systems because beliefs, like I said, they don't need to be a system.
Yeah.
Just think about it on a more specific basis, and that's part of the problem with politics. Kind of in a nutshell, like all that stuff we were saying, is that a lot of times when you put someone in office, they end up being just a figurehead of this of some sort of belief system, and that's kind of a problem. I almost wish there was some way that it could work within our system where we could vote on issues and not just people in some way.
We did.
Sometimes, but it's not very common. There'll be some referendum or whatever it is.
Every now and again.
But it's rare. Like, we don't ever get to vote on whether to go to a war or not.
No, thank God.
What is that?
No. Oh my God. I think it goes back to I think we should be able to trust our leaders, but at the same time, you watch them.
Yeah, balance there.
Yeah, you trust them, but what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here's one thing that I've always thought would be an interesting possibility. Is, I mean, I get you get into kind of a weird thing if we were voting on every single decision. That gets kind of weird.
Yeah.
But what if there's polls and stuff, of course, but what if there was an official way for people to vote easily, especially now with technology?
Yeah.
Let's say any big political issue that the government is hashing out on, some type of whether to go into this country and do this thing, or how to deal with some situation, or whether to decriminalize this or legalize that or whatever, or make something illegal, is if everyone could vote on it, and it was done in an official capacity, it didn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
But that number was public. So let's say that they're voting on whether we're going to go to, let's say it's the year 2050 and we're going to go to war with Somalia or something.
Like
I don't know.
again? Okay,
yeah. Again.
Okay.
And most people don't want to go, and it seems like it's going that way, that the government wants to go in for some reason, and we have that vote. It doesn't actually mean anything, but if it's all over the news and everybody sees that 80% of the population does not want to do this, it kind of makes the government look bad if they do it anyways.
It's not representing the people. If they go, we kind of do that now with opinion polls, and,
sort of,
surveys and all that. We kind of do
it's
that.
It's not on a large scale, but it's
because
there.
these guys in charge, they're going to be real careful about doing something if it's not popular.
Right.
If I recall correctly, they made a case for the war against Iraq before they actually went.
Right.
And you can't go to war or something unless you got popular support.
Yeah.
So if the people ain't for it, then you kind of leave it alone because
it ends up being a sales job sometimes, which is not necessarily good either.
Exactly. The government is supposed to represent the people. Yeah. Which for the most part they do.
Yeah.
So again,
I mean, really, you could almost make the point they shouldn't have to sell us on something like that. Really, it
goes back to trusting them, but not blind trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right, so get away from the politics now. We went on a long rant about that.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God.
But one thing that has always been kind of a pet peeve of mine that you will probably hear me talk about a lot on this show is kind of the gun shop culture in a way. And there's a lot of things that I wish weren't the case when it comes to the gun shop experience. And one of them is a form of stereotyping, basically. Like, I've had a lot of experience with this where I've got long hair, and that goes against apparently, again, that goes against belief systems. Yeah. I mean, I know. Again, there's that word belief systems. It goes against people's belief systems. So I walk into a gun shop, and they see long hair, and they immediately go, what is this guy? He's either in a biker gang or he's like some hippie that doesn't know what he's talking about, or just
what you mean? You ain't got a crew cut? You got to have a crew cut?
Flat top.
Flat top.
No, that's a real American right there.
My God, white T-shirt, button down shirt. Khaki pants.
So it's always funny. I go in there, and of course I grew up with guns. I definitely don't know everything about guns, but I know enough to be able to handle myself in a gun shop situation. That's for sure. And I walk in there, and there's been so many times where they look at me kind of like, "Why are you here?" Oh wow! And they don't even want to show me a gun, or like, a lot of like short answers if I ask them because this guy ain't gonna buy a gun, and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know. It's just really it's kind of really rubs me the wrong way, because if it's happening to me, it's not going to make me not want to buy guns. I'm too ingrained.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, there's going to be people like me that have long hair or whatever it is about them that looks different. They walk into a gun shop and they're going to get turned off, and they're never going to be interested in guns again.
True. One thing you got to remember is that most people can't get past what they see.
Yeah.
The minute they see you, no matter how you look, they're going to have preconceived notions.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's their business. You let them. How you carry yourself is more important. Now, also, once you start talking, you show your knowledge, all of a sudden they're going to realize, well, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and that does happen sometimes.
Okay, whoa, okay. I thought this. It's not that way. This guy obviously knows what he's talking about, and you'll gain respect that way.
Yeah.
But don't get caught up in that, because people are going to do it.
Yeah.
Most people cannot get past what they see, and that's fine, because that's just something people do. So just go in there, be yourself, be knowledgeable. For anybody going into a gun shop that wants to purchase a weapon, be knowledgeable, do your research, get your background down, and know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because there are too many people that don't.
Yeah. And also don't, like, if you had that experience, don't let it sway you. Don't let it get you down or feel like you're not welcome in a gun shop. Just if you go into a gun shop and you didn't feel good about how they treated you, just don't go back to that one. Yeah. Now maybe it's the only gun shop in your town and you got to put up with it, but which happens sometimes. But you got that whole macho ego thing. Some of the guys sometimes. I mean, there's a lot of great people that work in gun shops.
Oh hell yeah.
Tons of them. Just like everything. It's obviously it's a minority that we're talking about, but it's very noticeable. It's a noticeable trend that happens, and I've had many experiences with it. But don't let it get you down. But if you're someone who works in a gun shop, I think a lot of times it happens unknowingly. People don't realize that they're doing it. So if you are someone who works in a gun shop or you might ever be in that situation, you want to think about that. Realize that you're in a position where you know a lot about guns, and you're going to naturally want to look down on someone who walks in the door that doesn't, because guns end up being kind of an ego thing. And it's hard for people to escape that sometimes, but it's good to put it in perspective and try to push back against that, basically.
Don't assume that guy in that gun store knows what he's talking about either.
Yeah, no, do not do that ever.
Let me tell you, years ago, I worked. I was still in school. I worked in the gun shop that just opened on this military base around here, and I worked there. Dude, I didn't know which way the bullets came out of. Yeah, and I'm back there selling the things, right?
Yeah,
and people, and there were, when I realized working at this gun store is that you got people. It's just what they do, coming by and checking out weapons. This is what they do.
Yeah,
and this lady came by, this little old lady came by, and she wanted to see a Desert Eagle. I went, the gun was as big as she was.
Yeah.
She started asking me all these questions. I did the best thing I could do was be honest. I went and found somebody that knew what they were talking about to talk to this lady.
Yeah, see, if you at least admit what you don't know, then it's not a problem.
I know about M4s and Beretta pistols.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I know, lady. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anything other than that? 19 what?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But don't assume that the guy behind the counter knows what he's talking about. A lot of times, he just, here you go, look at it.
Yeah, another thing that they'll do is there are certain guns that maybe they make more money on, or they don't sell as well, or something like that they're wanting to push. So you got to remember that the gun shop guy has an agenda. You tend to think that, okay, like he wants to sell me any gun, so why would he steer me in the wrong direction? Because he just wants to sell me anything. But sometimes you'll go in there and say, oh, I'm looking to buy this type of gun, maybe. Yeah. And he'll say, oh, you don't want that. You want this. If he can tell you're inexperienced and not sure about it, because maybe he doesn't make as much money on those.
Exactly. What happens is that if you don't sound knowledgeable, all of a sudden he's putting you over toward the high points.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you need. Hey, that looks like a boat anchor. Yeah, but don't worry about it.
Actually, more than likely, they'll be trying to like, oh, you at least need a Wilson Combat 1911. At least $3,500. If you don't spend over $3,000 on a 1911, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Why even come out here?
Yeah.
It's gonna be one. You're right. One extreme or the other. Either the high point or the top of the line. Sig Sauer. By God. Yeah, you're right.
and sometimes it's not about them trying to make.
Especially if you're a female. Especially if you're a female.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And of course, especially if you're an attractive female. Every guy wants to. That's another thing. If you're an attractive female and you go into a gun shop. The first guy that is going to be right there, Johnny, on the spot to help you, whether he knows anything or not.
Right this way, ma'am. Yes. What are you looking for?
Yeah. As with anything, you just have to be aware of what people's agendas might be. Everyone has an agenda. It's important to know what it is.
Yeah, because you only help yourself by knowing that. And of course, this guy is going to want to sell you the high dollar weapon. Of course, he is.
Yeah.
Or once he realizes that you ain't got the cash, he's going to say he's going to want to sell you something. That's when you get the cheap gun, the 22,
Yeah, exactly. So that's just something to be aware of. And another thing too that makes the stereotyping thing a little bit tricky in gun shops is that like you might have some guy that comes in. Now gun shops definitely reserve the right to refuse business to anyone,
and they should.
More so, yes, definitely more so than any other business. So you might have some guy that comes in and he's got like a bunch of tattoos, or maybe he has a lot of gang tattoos.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now, see, that's where it gets tricky because maybe the guy is just a poser or something. Maybe he's
they're out there. You're right. They're out there.
Maybe he's never been in a gang in his life.
Yeah, but he likes looking the part. You're right. A poser. Yeah.
Right. So maybe you're stereotyping him by assuming too much. But here's the thing: there's a point where it becomes a safety issue.
True.
And a liability issue.
Exactly.
So if you have the proper experience to recognize gang related characteristics, then I think that is definitely reasonable to deny the sale to someone.
Which also something else, especially in May issue states like California and New York, you gotta watch for people making straw purchases.
Right.
People that they're buying a gun for somebody who can't legally buy a gun.
Right.
And you'll get that by asking them questions.
Yeah.
You know, what are you looking for? You know, what are you trying to do? And they're real vague about it. Well, they all but pull out a sheet of paper. I was told to buy this.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a nice day.
I'll
Thank
tell you.
very
I'll tell
much.
you a big clue would be if they are absolutely adamant about buying a specific gun.
Yeah.
They know that they want that one, and they're not leaving without it. But they don't seem to even know why or
anything about it. Or
Yeah.
you know, and they'll challenge you. Well, not challenge. They'll probe and by asking you questions like, you know, what made you decide to get that one? I don't know. I just need that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What about ammunition? What kind of that gun?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. All right. Sure. Which again, you are liable
Yeah.
if you had doubts. Now I don't know how they would prove that you had
Yeah.
doubts.
That's the thing.
But you say you let somebody make a straw purchase and then somebody uses that weapon to go commit a crime.
Yeah.
You're liable.
Yeah.
But now, how are they going to prove that?
Yeah, and again, it's just a situation where you have to be as reasonable as you can. But
Yeah.
but there are instances where you might want to stereotype people to an extent. Like if it's a safety issue or liability issue,
Yes,
or something like that. Don't just assume because like some guy walks in there with long hair that he's in a biker gang.
You never know. You never know.
But if he walks in there with crime organization markings,
Yes, that's obvious. Like not stereotype, but tattoos in the face. Dead giveaway.
yeah, yeah, it really is.
Dead hardcore member.
Yeah, both of us from our experiences, we know that like
Yeah.
if you have face tattoos, you're probably affiliated with a crime
This guy
organization.
is up to no good.
It
But
doesn't mean that you are. It doesn't mean that you are, but it's just, man, it's real likely.
You can't. It's hard to get past. You know, you
Yeah.
can't. You couldn't sell that person a weapon without having an uneasy feeling. Like, what's he going to do with this?
Right.
Also, there are people that just give off a high. I call it a high creepy factor.
Yeah.
You know, you just get this feeling about, you know, dude, I'm not getting a woman fuzzy about you.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people get past that and sell it anyway, but I personally wouldn't.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? I'm not getting a woman fuzzy feeling about you.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be funny if you said that to him. You know, you just don't make me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
What's he
Yeah.
gonna do? No, dude, I tell him, dude, you're creeping me out. I don't think I'm gonna sell you a
Yeah.
weapon.
Yeah.
What? What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
How? Leave, dude. Hey.
Yeah. It's the same kind of choices that a bartender has to make. Really,
Yeah.
think about it.
Because you don't want the guilt and responsibility of the guy. You didn't feel good about him in the first place, but hey, it's a sale, and he goes out there and injures someone with it or himself.
Right.
So you know what, dude? Or that guy comes in real agitated.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. By God, I know you're gonna edit that. I'm peed off. Better word. I'm peed off. He's all agitated. He's upset. I'm gonna buy a gun. Nah, not today, dude. Not here.
It's like, this lady could have been an ATF plant, but this happens. I knew of this gun shop. I won't say what gun shop it was, but there was this gun shop I knew of that they told me that there was this lady that kept coming in there, right? And she told them this sob story about how her daughter was like raped and murdered or something by this biker gang and all this kind of stuff. And she would come in there and demand a gun. Like the first time she came in, she was just like, you know, I gotta have a gun, and she like told them the story and all this kind of stuff, and they were like, sorry, like no, you don't need to be buying a gun.
You're emotionally upset.
Yeah, you know, she was completely legal to do so.
But
I was actually, and the reason I got told this story was because I was actually there one of the times that she showed up, and she shows up, and man, she is just like, I want that shotgun right there. I want it, that one. And and the guy was just like shaking his head like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
And she was like, what about that one? And she was like, you know how people get real intense?
Yeah.
You know, like real intense. And she was like that. It was like scary, you know?
Yeah, sorry, lady. No.
Yeah. And I was like, and after she left, he told me like the whole story, how like she comes in all the time. And not all, but it's happened a few times.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, that's obviously a cut and dry situation.
Also, you get a couple of incidents I've had at the other job is that guys that offer to buy your weapons from you.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to buy me? He says, yeah, man, I know your weapons are clean. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think sometimes the ATF tries to set people up because
Exactly.
I was selling a gun on Arms List, and I got this. I got a phone call, and I didn't recognize. Oh no, yeah, I got a phone call. I didn't answer because I didn't recognize the number, and then I got a text message, and it said, whatever. I'm calling about the gun. Call me back. And then I like texted her back, and then she kind of, can you please call me?
Female?
So, it was a female. And already I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Usually people would rather text. So I call. And so she answers the phone, and of course there's all these distractions in the background, like her kids and all this kind of stuff. And she's in Ohio.
Okay.
I'm in Tennessee.
Okay.
And she's all like, yeah, I want to buy this gun for my husband and for his birthday and all this kind of stuff. It's like, what are can I how do we do this? Can we and then all this kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I can't sell you the gun because you're in Ohio. It's I can't
a couple of state lines away.
Yeah, exactly. And and then she was like, oh, I don't really want a paper trail and all this kind of stuff.
Okay, sorry, click.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. If I was 99.9% sure that it was ATF. If I'd been 100% sure, I would have been like, I don't sell guns to ATF agents. Sorry. I wish I had said that, but I was a little bit still kind of taken back by it and stuff. So I was just kind of like, okay, yeah, sorry, no thanks, and then just hung up the phone.
And that's even more of a reason to do the right thing, because law enforcement's out there. ATF, local law enforcement, federal, they're out there.
Yeah, and of course I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, and of course I wouldn't have done it anyways. But it was a little freaky because I was pretty sure that was the ATF because it was just too obvious. And now from my experience, my very mild, brief experience in law enforcement, I knew that. I started thinking, I was like, oh, okay, she wanted me on the phone because she wanted my voice.
She wanted to record you.
Yeah, exactly. She wanted my voice, so I couldn't lie about it and say, oh, someone else was using my phone to text message or something.
Exactly. You got to use common sense out there.
Yeah.
I mean, and realize that law enforcement is out there. Undercover, vice, they're out there. Yeah. Like people offering bribes to get into certain places. Yeah. So you're going to walk up to me, obviously underaged. Yeah. No identification. But you're willing to offer me $400 to get in. Have a nice day. I almost said, have a nice day, officer. See you later. Yeah. So you got to be careful. You're right.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, a lot of the times, the shady stuff that happens around, like, gun shows and things like that, usually it's the ATF trying to catch somebody. Most people, your average person, they're very honest and law-abiding.
Yeah, true.
A lot of the times, whenever you have someone that seems really shady, like I think they're the ATF a lot of times.
Exactly. It's not worth getting caught. The penalties are heavy for any kind of illegal gun sales. The penalties are heavy. It's not worth it. Yeah. You can make more money by doing the right thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so you're right. Always got to be careful, and just not only because it's
not because there's ATF plans. I'm saying, be careful when you're committing crimes out there. The police are watching.
The man's everywhere.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that
we're supposed to do the right thing. It's easier to do the right thing. It's safer to do the right thing, and you'll make more money, more profit in the long term by doing the right thing.
Right. And we're all ambassadors of the Second Amendment.
Exactly.
And we don't want to lose. We don't want to give up our credibility.
And don't be speaking of stereotypes. Don't be that that shady guy selling guns out back of his car.
Yeah, with a trench coat.
At night in the alley.
With nothing on under it.
That's why he carries a gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've seen that out there. Some guys walked up, tried to sell me a 1911. I was trunk. Okay, yeah, dude. What's that serial number? Let me get that. You don't mind that, do you? Yeah. And it came back hot. Of course it did. Yeah. So
I'll tell you what would be frustrating is if like some guy was trying to sell you like some gun off some kind of street gun. He pulled out. He's like, I got some old 1911. Don't know what it is. And he pulls it open, and it's like a vintage World War I like classic piece that's worth like $10,000.
You got it. And
but it's been floating around on the street for like $200 or $300 a pop.
Yeah,
because it got stolen in like 1976 out of somebody's house. That stuff's out there. It has to be.
That guy that tried to sell me the weapon. Speaking of stereotypes, this alleged gang member type person. Yeah, that tried to sell me that weapon. It was a Colt 1911 Chrome. This was a $1,500 gun. Yeah, and he was going to let me have it for $6. Yeah, I say, "Are you? Thank you, but no, thank you, sir." Yeah. But can I have that serial number though? If I get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they don't want that.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So you're right. Do the right thing, and that way you won't be the stereotype. Do the right thing the right way. Like you said, represent yourself the way as a responsible, law-abiding person. Nobody has a problem with that. Yeah. Again, I've said this before in previous shows. No one has a problem with that. If you come across, you're a gun person, but you're a responsible adult, carrying professionally, dealing, if you sell weapons, dealing professionally, no one here has a problem.
Right.
They don't. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that convoluted conversation was basically, just basically, don't stereotype people.
Yes.
Don't do what the media does.
Don't be a stereotype.
Well, yeah. Don't be a stereotype, and don't stereotype people unfairly like how the media does in the way that they depict gun owners. But then also be reasonable because it is a safety issue, and especially if you're selling guns, you need to like there's this thing that like a lot of people they say don't judge people, right? I have a different take on that. I say judge people. That's important. That's that is a survival technique.
Yes. Judge
people all the time. I'll be honest.
Based on behavior.
This is an unpopular thing to say. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I constantly judge people. Anyone who says they don't is lying to themselves or they're working really hard. I see some guy over there. I'm going to judge him based on how he looks. But here's the thing. You judge everyone, but treat everyone the same. That's the way I look. And then you make your judgments fluid. I might see a guy over there. He looks kind of shady. He might be a gang member. He might be dangerous. I'm going to make that judgment about him.
Yeah.
He walks over and he doesn't seem as scary. So I'm gonna change that judgment to okay, maybe not. And then I talk to him. He's a nice guy. Okay, he's a nice guy. Or I might see. I bet that guy's cool. And then I talk to him and he's. I can't
completely off his nut.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm not gonna rejudge him. So judging people is fine, I think.
Because we all do it.
It's how you treat people.
Exactly.
That makes a difference.
Very good point. Very good point. Because you never know. I saw this one guy in a certain area. Looking at him from a distance, you thinking this guy has got three bodies in his basement.
Yeah. He's like, no, actually, I have 7.
But
nice guess though.
You talk to the guy and you're like, this guy's all right.
Yeah.
If we took time, the world would be a lot. Senator Daniel Inouye, he said that if everybody just took 10 minutes a day to get to know somebody else, the world would be a safer place.
Yeah.
And he was right. That guy looked every bit the serial killer. But if you got to talk to him, you're like, this guy's all right. He's all right. Come on.
Yeah.
He's all right.
Yeah, because it's that lack of a connection that makes us want to fight each other.
Exactly.
That's the thing that's crazy. Like when you think about wars, no person on the planet, unless you literally have psychotic problems, like you're just messed up in the head, wants to have to be in a situation where it's kill or be killed. Nobody wants to do that.
Exactly.
People just want to just live, and just enjoy life. But still, we have wars. It's because of belief systems and the separation of it's like, oh, I don't have to talk to those guys over there, so it's easy for me to hate them.
Easy to kill them if you don't know them.
Yeah.
That's why we got the names for people like Krauts from World War II or the recent wars, called them Haji.
Yeah.
It dehumanizes them.
And part of that is a defense mechanism.
Exactly.
The war's already happened. You're already there. So it's too late to worry about that. So you have to do what you got to do in the situation.
It's easier to pull that trigger, to put that 6.2 pounds of trigger pressure on that trigger because I don't know them.
Yeah.
And they're human, but not like us human. Somehow they're different.
Yeah.
So
that makes
defensive.
Yeah, in that sense it makes sense, honestly.
Yeah.
But outside of that, you're not in war.
Yeah.
And you think about it, it's crazy. Nobody wants to fight, but we do it all the time.
Yes. 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 Nobody wants to fight, but we do it all the time. You're right.
Yeah.
ISIS, no. Those are bad guys. They're okay. To be as peaceful and level as possible. We fight because unfortunately we need to sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't want to, but we need to. That's why it's important that we be able to.
Yeah.
Because
and not to get too controversial, but the thing I always say about when it comes to war is it's not when you get into the whole war protest things. Oh, those hippies out there. But here's the thing: the problem. First of all, everyone should be able to agree that war is bad.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Sometimes we need to go to war, but the issue is we question not whether there is ever a need to go to war, but whether there was a need to go to that war.
Exactly.
That's
Good point.
The thing.
Good point. I've seen those bumper stickers. Give war a chance. Which okay, I can agree with that. Okay, all right. But you're right. Is this particular war justified? Yeah. So you're right. Good point.
Yeah, I mean there is a need for war. If someone, it's just like on a personal level. Like that's one thing. Everything is the same at the smallest level and the biggest level. Inherently, everything is basically the same. A conflict between you and then some other guy who comes around a corner and pulls a knife on your ass for your wallet. It's the same thing as a country fighting another country.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you were met with a threat. Like you didn't want to have to get into a conversation, confrontation, but this other thing that you have no control over has brought you into a situation where you're going to have to be confrontational, or you're not going to be able to survive.
Yeah, you tried to avoid it. You didn't want this, but situation pushed you toward it.
Right. So inherently, war is a natural course of events.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yes. Unfortunately, yes.
But what the thing that we question and that people protest or whatever is that what happened? This war that we're talking about going into, I'm not saying like now, I mean just any time, like this, whatever this, war of today.
Hypothetical war.
This hypothetical war, that we're going into. Is that what it is? Was there a guy with a knife that said, "Give me your money"?
Is there a threat? Is there a real threat?
Is that really what's happening?
What we run into, the problem we got now in this world is that we're all interconnected. The world, we can't say, well, that's way on the other side of the ocean now. Well, it ain't like the old days. We're all interconnected now. We all are dependent on each other economically and other ways. So you just can't say, well, that happened over there. It's no concern of mine. Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe not. And what's to stop whatever's happening over there? Not to sound alarmist. What's to stop stuff that's happening over there coming here? You never know.
And part of the problem,
like lone wolf terrorists, which I understand is a problem.
Yeah, exactly. I think like one of the fundamental issues, like a little digging deep here, is like our perception of everything else and other people is filtered through institutions.
True.
Like that is part of the problem. So it's like our perception of other countries and other cultural norms and all these kinds of things, it all comes through this filter of the nearest institution, basically. Yeah. The thing that the internet does is the internet in itself is not an institution. The internet is just a collection of there's institutions on the internet, obviously. Yeah. Everything is on the internet. But it gives people the ability to connect directly without passing through
whatever filtered media or otherwise.
Right, exactly. So it allows people to, for the first time, be actually connected. And,
sorry, I mean to cut you off.
And I think there was the end result of that eventually is going to be like how I was saying, how no one really wants to fight wars. No one wants to fight, but we all do it.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to talk about it. We didn't get to tell each other that we didn't want to.
True.
And that could happen eventually.
Problem we have now, because the internet is as free as it is, and people can put their opinions out there, is that being vague, certain organizations in other countries are calling for lone wolf terrorists to come and make individual attacks in the United States, which we have two in the last month. D.C. Yesterday, a guy apparently pulled out an axe and charged an officer, which is just what this institution that's remained nameless prompted lone wolf terrorists to do, to attack security and law enforcement inside the continental United States.
Yeah.
The week before, another axe-wielding recent convert attacked two New York City officers, and they shot and killed him. Yeah. So you're right. We can't say that it don't concern us. Things happening in other places, we can't say because of the internet and media and whatever else. We can't say it doesn't concern us, because it does.
Right.
Because all it takes is, it's so easy to get your message, your view, your opinion here because of our access to global media.
Right.
So
it's harder to hide.
Exactly. Yeah. And you never know, some guy sitting in his shed in Idaho decides, hey, that guy's right, and then picks up an axe and goes to work. So you never know. So.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like anything, it has its upside and its downside for sure.
Good and bad.
But I think eventually the internet will have a great upside. Like I say this,
it does already.
Yeah. Oh, it already has. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I say this all the time, and I think the internet is the greatest thing that man has ever created since we've been on this planet.
And it brings us all together because it made the world a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Because we're all you can't really be isolated anymore.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take that back. It's harder to be isolated.
Right. Yeah.
You have to really try.
Yeah. So. And I think there really needs to be kind of this balance between individualism and connectedness, because in a way you can't be totally connected with the whole world unless you are self-sufficient to an extent and an individual, because like again I was talking about how these institutions end up being filters.
Yeah.
If you're reliant on institutions, then you're reliant on the thing that's filtering kind of your view of everything. But if you're more self-sufficient, you're more doing things on your own. You're not relying on all these institutions for things as much, at least.
You can get a real objective view because you're not depending on somebody else to give you your information.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I think that's really important.
Hey, here's a tangent. World War Z, part of the book, World War Z, a kid in Japan who was a real shut-in, but he had internet access.
Yeah.
That's how he kept up with what was going on in the world around him. All of a sudden, he realized he was on his own, but he was able to survive because of internet access to the web. He realized what was going on and knew how to survive. So, for all you shut-ins, you got a chance. Don't worry, you're not going out.
Yep.
So,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing how fast the world is changing. I mean,
True.
It's changing faster than it ever has.
Just in the last 50 years, I saw one story that just in food production, more food has been produced in the last 60 years that were produced in the 2,000 years before.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, technology.
I know.
Else.
It's amazing. One thing, I can't remember if we've talked about this before, but it's not like it's a one-time deal topic anyways, but a lot of people, they talk about overpopulation.
Yeah.
You know, the human race is a virus and it's overpopulating the planet and all that stuff. Well, here's the thing. I don't really agree with that, because the more people you have, the more innovation that develops. Like, for example, when I was playing basketball, the best basketball teams that we faced were typically the biggest schools.
Yeah.
The reason for that is because they had more players to choose from.
More talent to draw from.
Yeah, there was more chance of them having really good players.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like I mean, the people are kind of unrealistic about the pop. It's not like we're running out of elbow room, you know, and like it's just people shoulder to shoulder.
Give me room.
Yeah. I think I heard somewhere that obviously they would be really cramped, but I remember hearing that like the entire world population could fit in Texas.
I think something along those lines. I think we're at 7 billion now.
Yeah,
I think the max that we can have with people dying, which you don't realize how many people die every day.
Oh yeah.
They're natural causes, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Natural causes.
It's all that gun violence. We gotta get these guns out of people's hands.
The max world population is like 9 mil. I mean, with the rate of people natural death. Even with all our health innovations and everything we've done to improve people's lives, the max population we can have on this rock is 9 million.
Billion, me.
9 billion. Sorry,
Yeah.
9 million. That's like New York.
Yeah.
9 billion.
One city in China.
And we got room for them. The problem is that, again, back to that equality thing. Not everybody's going to be living well.
Yeah, but they could. Well, here's the thing. See, as there's more people, there's more chances for innovation. Mm-hmm. And I'm like on my trip out west, went out to the SHOT Show, which is it's a huge annual event of just guns, basically.
Okay.
Man, driving out west, it's like there is plenty of room out here. Now it's barren, of course. Yeah, but eventually though, we'll have technology. Like they're talking about colonizing the Mars.
Why not?
I mean, they should, but here's the thing. Like, long before that, you would think we'd be able to colonize the desert. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot closer.
Yeah, it is a lot closer. It's like people are like, oh, man, if we colonize Mars, then maybe we'd have a place to go. How about, have you been to the, out west before?
West Texas, okay.
Yeah.
How about Arizona, dude?
Yeah.
We got plenty of room out there.
I know. There's plenty of room out there. So that's the thing. As technology increases, people will be able to. There'll be like these pod cities and stuff out in Arizona, out in the middle of the desert and stuff like that, where people can live and have greenhouses and have everything
Who
they
knows?
need.
I mean, sure, my age, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, I thought by now it would be the Jetsons. Oh, yeah. We'd have like flying cars and stuff. Yeah. A whole meal in one pill, push a button, you're at work, But at the same time, we do have, if you remember the old Star Trek, the communicators.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call them smartphones now.
Yeah, we do have that now. Yeah.
We got that. So that's one prophecy that came true. But we don't know. We got a lot of potential out there. And you're right. More people means more potential.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got to look at it.
Yeah. And some of the things when it comes to technology, the ideas, of course, come way before that they're practical. Another thing is, too, like for example, like flying cars. We could do that now.
But do you want to?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like there would need to be some other technology to go along with it.
Yes,
like some kind of force field where you like you can bounce off of each other or something.
No. Igor Sikorsky, who's Sikorsky helicopters. That was his vision back in the late 30s.
Yeah.
He thought everybody could have a helicopter instead of a car, and that's how you went to work and travel. And in later years, he says, "Thank God that didn't happen."
Yeah.
He says,
that would be a nightmare.
Look at the crashes we have now with people driving.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can
unless there was some type of other technology, like I said, to go with it where it was safe somehow.
Yeah, everybody with a parachute.
Yeah. Where you like can't crash or something. Yeah.
You're texting at 10,000 feet. Oh, what's that?
Yeah. It's like that movie. Was it The Fifth Element? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
The Bruce Willis. I mean, it's kind of scary. All like the traffic in the air. And, man.
Yeah.
I mean.
Dude.
I can't even imagine that being realistic unless there is some kind of force field or something.
I'm sure there's stuff out there that we haven't thought about. And some alien technology at Area 51 for all the conspiracy theorists that they're working on. So it's out there. They're just going to spring it on us.
And I say that sometimes when it comes to technology, it ends up being like the simplest things. I know they're experimenting with sound, like just even sound, vibrations and stuff like that. I know that I think at MIT, they figure something crazy out.
Right, dude. That's
I think someone like they levitated something with sound or something.
I know there's a way to use sound. The Army has it. There's a way to use sound as a weapon, and the way they use it's a non-lethal. Well,
like they did it.
Mostly non-lethal.
Yeah.
They project sound waves at you, and the way it works is that it causes your internal organs to vibrate. It makes you sick, and all of a sudden that's how it incapacitates you.
That makes sense.
That's technology we got right now.
Yeah.
Now, is it practical? Let me pull out take this 1911. I got my sound wave amplifier.
That'd be crazy. Like they like pointed at a tank and it just all the bolts come loose and it just falls apart.
All the guys open up, and start throwing up.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. I give up.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's out there. Before you laugh, it's out there.
Oh yeah,
right now.
Yeah, it's just great. And then it's funny. And then people, when they hear about new technology, they always worry. Or like some new high-powered rifle round comes out, and they're like, "Oh no, it's the cop killer because of body." Things always keep up. That's the thing. Body armor technology is going to keep up with bullet technology.
I think if you shot somebody with a 1787 Brown Bess rifle, it would kill you if it hit you.
Yeah.
I mean, even today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, even today. I mean, come on.
Some things they still do what they were intended to do. Just not as well, maybe, but
not
they
as
do
well. A crossbow will kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah.
So, perspective, guys. Come on. Well, there's always some kind of fear that there's a fear in the media of technology spawning this Frankenstein. That the theory behind Frankenstein was that the guy created Frankenstein and Frankenstein destroyed its creator, and that's what we're afraid of. That all of a sudden the laptop don't want to behave anymore.
Yeah. It's like the Matrix.
That's right. Which is real, by the way.
That's right, yeah. Sorry to break it to you. That is a good movie.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Yeah, actually, Derrick earlier today, he gave me the choice: blue pill, red pill.
And we're deciding now. It's on the table in front of us.
Yeah.
What the?
Well, there's
something movie, by the way.
There's something they didn't talk about in that movie, but there's actually a yellow pill. It's for those people that can't decide.
That's right. Cool idea, but dude, I got the bills to do on Monday.
Yeah. Can't we do both?
I can be like part-time Matrix.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from 9 to 4 in the morning. That's good work for me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, let's see some real life movie stuff like in the Matrix. Where's the old guy with the gut?
Yeah,
he's balding. Oh man, I gotta do what? Oh Jesus, the guy in his chair.
How mad would you be if you did find out that you're in a Matrix? and your life sucked. You'd be like, wait a minute.
Wait.
This has just been a video game, basically, and it still sucks.
Dude, should took that blue pill.
Yeah.
On a serious note, though the Matrix doesn't exist as far as we know.
Yeah.
I want that said.
Yeah.
Because there was some lady out there. There was a woman in Arizona that had a real issue because she thought the Matrix was real. And for all your listeners, as far as we know, there is no Matrix out there. Yes, I did fly here in my trench coat, but as far as we know, it's not real.
Yeah.
I came from Area 51.
That's right. Underground secret base. How disappointing would it be if, like, you're in the military and then you get some kind of high security clearance?
Yeah.
And you're working down there and you go to Area 51 and they're like, all right, so we've got good news and bad news. And you're just like, you're like rubbing your hands together. Here it comes.
Which way to the spaceship? Okay,
Yeah, and
where's
it's like,
the aliens at? Okay.
It's like, okay, here's the bad news. We don't have aliens.
That's right.
Like, it's a lot more boring than you think.
On a mission, I guess it's not secret. It's been years ago, but I went to Area 27. Area 51 is a place called the Nevada Test Site, and they got different areas out there.
Yeah.
I did not go to Area 51. I'm not going to tell that big old lie. But I went to Area 27.
It's like poor man's.
That's right. I see low rent.
It's a cheap knockoff.
I see Section 8.
That's where they keep the aliens nobody cares about.
That's right. And I spent many a night out there in the desert. Didn't see a thing, guys. Didn't see a thing. I realized one thing in the desert. Things are a lot further away than they look. There was this mountain.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there bored in the middle of the desert. And I thought, hey, look, there's a hill over there. And we're bored. We're waiting for something to happen. And we're like, we'll just run over there.
Yeah.
So being young guys, we take off running. And we ran. It's been 10 minutes. We're still running. 15 minutes, we're still running. 20 minutes, we're still running. And finally, we get to the base. After 30 minutes of jogging, we get to the base of this thing. It's not a hill, it's a mountain.
Man.
And it's like, and then the guy thing kicked in. It's like, okay, let's climb it.
Yeah.
Why not? It's the middle of the night. What can happen, right?
Yeah.
So we start climbing up this thing. And the further up we went, the steeper it got.
Yeah.
We went from walking upright to leaning 45 degrees to now we're going from rock to rock.
Oh,
and again, the macho thing kicked in, and it was like nobody wanted to say, "Hey, maybe we should stop."
Yeah.
So
and that group mentality.
That's right. So finally, my pride, I swallowed my pride. I'm like, dudes, I'm going back. I don't care what you think. So I start back down the mountain. Now it's dark. I'm coming down this path, and thank God, in hindsight, it was dark because I remember coming to this ledge, and looking over and seeing nothing but jagged rocks down there. If it had been daylight, I would have flipped out.
Yeah.
So I turn around, go the other way. I get back down to the base of the mountain. I hear these aircraft coming in. Oh, the aircraft that we were supposed to be supporting.
Yeah.
Right, and now we're like 2 miles off.
Yeah.
So I start running to get back, and I get halfway back. It's completely dark now. I get halfway back, and I hear horses whinnying, and I hear like a rumble of hoofbeats, and because they're wild horses out there. And then I stopped. I'm thinking, are they dangerous?
Yeah.
And can horses see in the dark? Are they looking at me now? Yeah. Getting ready to run me over? I don't know.
Yeah.
So summoned all my courage, kept running. Get back. I did what I had to do, and completed the mission. And the aircraft flew off. I did all this by myself. And about 2 hours later, all these guys come back. Dude, where were you people at? Always on the top of the mountain watching. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much. Yeah, okay. So, male pride is a sin. I want that said for all your listening. Male pride is a sin. We should have quit and just stayed where we were, but I didn't. So,
yeah.
Good God. There's a further part of the story, but it's unfit for your show. I'll tell you after we're off the air.
Okay. One thing, like I'm not going to get into, of course, all that stuff in this show, but I will say though, when it comes to all the Area 51 stuff, I think the truth is far stranger than we could ever imagine.
Exactly.
And it's stranger than we could ever imagine, probably in the simplest way that we've always known. if that makes any sense to you, that's all I'm going to say on that.
Being a former watcher or fan of X-Files, I gotta say this. This is how can they keep it a secret? I mean, this is the same country that can't in poverty. We can't taxes. We got taxes out the butt, but we're gonna keep the alien stuff secret.
Yeah, like I said, it's stranger than we can imagine.
I guess I guess. I think one thing I heard one show is that one reason that I don't know if it's true or not. I heard that one reason if there is alien technology out there, they would keep it a secret because people would panic.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people would.
Yeah.
Because our image of aliens coming is what's that movie? Goldblum, Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith.
Oh yeah, Independence Day.
Independence Day. That's our image of what's going to happen when they show up.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good idea that if it is out there, I don't know.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, that's the thing. Look how far we've come in the past 50 years.
All of a sudden, for just no reason.
Think about a civilization that is, like even just 10,000 years ahead of us. I mean,
hey, until I see Luke Skywalker land that X-wing fighter in your front yard,
yeah.
I ain't believing it. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way. There's no way to know for sure. But
why don't they just come down here and say, "Hey, here I am." And don't let me be an alien. I'll land on the White House lawn. Yo.
Yeah.
Yo, Michelle Obama, way. Yo, what's up?
Yeah.
Barack, I'm here. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
What are they gonna do? Don't let me. Hey.
Yeah. Eventually, one day, Roddy Piper will tell us what's really going on.
That's right. They get out, they go, the aliens land, and they quote that same movie. Hey, you know what? That movie, They Live, it sucked. I want to know that.
Yeah.
We are nothing like that.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, you guys out there, don't read too much into this. We're just joking around.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're not implying.
Yeah.
In fact, no, we're on the ship now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh man! Another thing that's funny though is like the whole sci-fi thing that they always say, "Take me to your leader." You mean to tell me he can't take himself to your leader? He needs like some random trailer park dude to take him to his leader.
He just came 50 light years across the
Yeah. So like, okay, let me get this straight. Okay, like, you live in a trailer park. You're out there. Nothing wrong with that. But you're out there drinking beer and what's that over there? And then a spacecraft comes down. This green thing comes out at you and says, "Take me to your leader." And you're just like, okay, so you want me to introduce you to the president.
Okay, number one, you got the gas for that, boy? You know how much that gas?
Yeah.
Costs money, boy.
Yeah.
you got a debit card in that shit?
Yeah. It's like, oh, they're not as smart as we thought.
You came all this way without cash? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Me and my old man years ago were Georgia 219 in West Georgia, and we're coming from a place called Newnan, Georgia. It's middle of the night, and I forgot why we were coming back from Newnan, Georgia. Headed back for this other place, and I'm sitting there. I'm driving. My old man's in the passenger side, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We see this blue-green light come out of the sky, right across the road, hits in the field. And my old man, World War II, Battle of the Bulge veteran, looks at me and real calmly says, "Hit the gas, boy." He took off. There was no stopping, going to investigate. There was no, inquisitive. No, it's like, get out of here. That's bad news over there, boy. Hit the gas. The Germans didn't get me in 44. I ain't gonna let the Martians get me.
That's exactly how that generation would handle that.
It's about World War II and a Martian takes me out.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh man.
Oh,
that's
God.
funny. All right, we've run out of time.
Okay,
big time. But we've run out of time even in our going overtime.
We run out of overtime.
Yeah. There was that one guy that made a comment that said, "Don't be afraid to let the podcast get longer." So if you want to know who to hate for the podcast being long, it's him.
All right, you got. All right,
it's his fault.
That's all right. I got going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But there's one story that I remember you telling me a while back that we should end on if you can remember
What's
it.
that? Which one?
Okay, let me think how to tell you this without it ruining the story so that you'll know which one I'm talking about. You were doing some training and you missed your drop zone.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay. All right.
It was like training D-Day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's what it was. We were on a mission with this certain unit and in a certain place. And biggest thing about military operations is that nothing ever goes as planned. So it was a night drop, parachute from an aircraft in flight, by God, Army paratrooper. We were jumping into this drop zone at night. It was about the TOT, which is time over target, was about 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Come on, we take off from our base, fly for about 2 hours, get over the area. Air Force opens the doors. We light turns green. We all go out. Problem: they're not over the place that they're supposed to be over. So, I look out. So when you jump at night at a combat type jump, you come out of the airplane, you don't see nothing. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
This time there's like street lights and houses.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. So,
you're having like longest day flashbacks.
That's right. It's
like John Wayne being stuck in a tree. Or whatever.
So I'm coming down and I see neighborhoods down there. I thought, oh Jesus, here we go. I came down into this subdivision, and I came down. I hit the ground like a sack of crap. I had a 42-pound parachute, which was open, thank God.
Yeah.
10-pound reserve.
That's always good.
10-pound reserve, 60 pounds worth of equipment, rifle, M4 rifle in a M1950 weapons case. I hit the ground like a sack of crap. I missed their patio furniture by about 2 feet. Yeah. I hit the ground. How they didn't hear me, I don't know. But I hit the ground and no injuries, thank God. And I look up. I sit up.
And the guy just got finished watching Red Dawn. He just finished watching it.
I sit up and I look. It was about 20, 25 yards across the backyard. I see in a basement, there's this family and 2 kids watching something on TV. Again, how they didn't hear me? I hit like at the time I weighed like 180 pounds. All that equipment, I hit the ground like crap. Yeah. They didn't hear a thing. So I get up, I pack up a chute, get my equipment up, and I put it on my back, and I have no idea where I am.
Yeah.
The mission plan was not to come down in a city.
Yeah.
But anyway, I figured so I get all my stuff, put on my back, and I walk up to the back door. and I knock. And then Dad gets up, and this is apple pie eating average American white family. I get up, and Dad gets up, comes to the door. God knows what this guy thought. God knows. He opened that door, and he saw this guy, but green camel paint on his face, helmet, parachute on his back, gun across his chest, bushes, all kinds of bushes in his helmet.
Yeah.
Something's like I stepped out of a war movie.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Where exactly is this?
Yeah.
I was polite, and the guy looked at me with his mouth kind of dropped open, and he stared at me.
It's like you're a few miles short of Saigon.
I says, yes, sir. You see, I'm in the Army. And we were supposed to do this and that and be here. And where exactly is this? And he looked at me, and there were still aircraft going over.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, looked up, looked at me, looked up, looked at me again, looked up, and you could see it putting it together in his mind. Oh, parachute, Army guy,
yeah.
plane's fine. Okay, all right. And then he never said a word the whole time. He just kind of pointed off in this direction. And I went, "Thank you, sir. Thank you very much." I turned and I faded off into the dark. So I got this image. I got this image of every year at the family reunion.
Yeah.
This guy's going, yeah, there's that time that Army guy came flying down out of the sky and landed in the backyard. Yeah. So,
he had to have been telling that story for years.
I know he's been telling that story.
Hey, maybe he listens to this show.
That's right. Hey, dude, it was me. That was that guy.
You guys gotta have a reunion. Oh man!
Oh my God!
That's a great story, though.
Oh my God!
All right, well,
truth is stranger than fiction.
Yep, it always is. Always is. So yeah, we'll conclude this Gun Culture Radio podcast.
Cool.
And sorry we don't have any more riveting things to put out there for you guys today. But we've got a whole list of things for future shows, and Derrick will maybe come back on and do another one.
Anytime.
And we appreciate you guys listening. We'll catch you next time.